This is Dr. Karen Wyatt, and I'm sharing with you today my thoughts on what doctors need to learn about death and dying. The illustrations featured on these slides are all paintings created by Canadian artist Robert Pope, who died of Hodgkin's lymphoma at the age of 36. During a 5-year remission from his illness, Pope decided to paint his experiences as a patient with a terminal illness, and those paintings are featured in the book Illness and Healing: Images of Cancer. One of the concerns Robert Pope expressed through his art was his observation that doctors in the hospital were often uncomfortable around their terminally ill patients and would tend to avoid them, like these doctors standing in the hallway while the patient is hidden away in the room. One of the first things doctors need to learn about death and dying is that death is inevitable. Every one of our patients will die, as will our friends and family members and we ourselves. When doctors identify strongly with the idea that our job is to save lives, we may be ignoring the fact that every patient will eventually die. No matter what we do, we cannot prevent death. We only forestall it when possible. And so to fully care for our patients, we must recognize that each of them will die because death is a natural part of life. The second thing that doctors need to learn is that death is a mystery. No matter how hard we try to figure out or control death, it has its own time frame for every person. We cannot accurately predict when death will occur, even with terminally ill hospice patients. One man I cared for with colon cancer was expected to live for 6 months with his disease. So I met with him and his family and talked about what might happen over the next 6 months. But the very next day, that man died of a massive heart attack, far sooner than anyone could have predicted. Another man was admitted to our hospice in terminal renal failure and was expected to live only a few weeks, but ended up surviving for a full year, possibly because he discovered he had a talent for drawing just after he got admitted and spent every day creating beautiful pieces of art. Which brings me to the third thing doctors need to learn. Death makes life more precious. One of the great lessons I learned from working with patients who are at the end of life is that each and every moment of this existence is to be cherished and enjoyed to the fullest. And finally, the very process of dying provides an opportunity for transformation, for old wounds in relationships and families to be healed at last through acts of love and forgiveness, through learning to live fully in every moment, through finding meaning and purpose in life itself. And I believe that if doctors could learn these 4 lessons, they wouldn't stand in the hallway. They would sit at the patient's bedside. They would listen. They would hold a hand in theirs. And they would willingly walk this final journey with their patient, providing the support that is needed along the way.